My fiancée refused a paternity test after I caught her texting her ex. I don't have to prove anything. Be grateful I even dated you. My family sided with her, calling me paranoid, so I let the truth hit them all at once. Sup Reddit found my fiancée sending pics of our son to her ex with all messages deleted. She said I was paranoid. I said prove it with a paternity test. She refused, and my family turned on me. Anyway, here's how she lit her own life on fire. I, 30, male, thought I had everything together. Had a decent two-bedroom place off Rural Road, drove a 2015 Silverado that ran clean, pulled in around 70 grand a year between my day job and weekend side work installing residential units. Normal life. Nothing fancy, nothing broken. Met Megan in August 2019 at some backyard cookout a coworker threw. She was doing dental hygiene, had this whole argument with me about In-N-Out versus Whataburger that somehow turned into us exchanging numbers. We clicked. She moved into my place after 9 months, and for a while everything felt solid. Here's the part that matters. My old man bailed when I was 7. Started a whole new family like we never existed. I grew up watching my mom turn bitter, spent my entire childhood hearing how men are trash, and how my father was Exhibit A. My younger brother Cody processed it differently, got insecure, resentful, convinced himself I was the golden child, even though mom was equally hard on both of us. I swore I'd never be that guy. So when Megan got pregnant in early 2021, I proposed 4 months in, committed to being the dad who stuck around. Aiden showed up September 2021. Changed everything. I took a week off, then started stacking weekend jobs to cover diapers and formula and all the expensive stuff babies need. Was there for every milestone. First smile, first word, first steps. Did the whole dad thing right. One thing Megan and I agreed on early: no contact with exes. She'd mentioned her ex Josh once or twice when we first started dating. Said they'd broken up about 8 months before we met. That he was possessive and jealous. That it ended messy. Fine. Water under the bridge. I had an ex try texting me our first year together. Showed Megan the messages, blocked the number. That was the standard. We operated clean. Or so I thought. March 14th, around 7:30 at night. I'd finished a job replacing a compressor unit in Gilbert, grabbed a shower to wash off the grime and dirt, and we'd just finished dinner. Aiden was in the living room building increasingly unstable towers with his blocks, and Megan decided to shower before we started the bedtime routine. Her phone was charging on the kitchen counter while I loaded the dishwasher. I wasn't looking at it, wasn't checking her stuff, but the screen lit up with a notification, and the name on the display jumped out at me like a flare. Josh. In 4.5 years together, I don't think I'd heard that name more than twice after our first few months dating. The preview message showed enough. He's got your eyes. My stomach dropped, just completely bottomed out. I picked up the phone without thinking, something I hadn't done in our entire relationship, and opened the message thread. There it was, a photo of Aiden from the previous weekend when we'd taken him to this petting zoo in Mesa. I remembered taking that exact shot on Saturday afternoon around 2. Aiden was standing next to the fence holding a baby goat, grinning like an idiot because the goat kept trying to eat his shirt. Josh had replied, "He's got your eyes. Thanks for sharing these with me." Here's what made my blood go cold. The entire chat history above that message was wiped. Completely gone. Just this one picture of my son, and his response, floating there in a conversation that obviously existed before, but had been deliberately scrubbed clean. I didn't touch her phone for 4.5 years. This was different. The shower was still running. Aiden was still babbling in the living room. Everything looked normal, but that deleted chat history sat in my hand like a live grenade. Megan came out of the bathroom about 15 minutes later in her usual post-shower routine, hair wrapped in a towel, wearing sweats, asking if Aiden was ready for bed soon with that casual tone like everything was perfectly fine. I was sitting on the couch with Aiden, but my brain was absolutely nowhere near the episode of Bluey playing on TV. I waited until Aiden was distracted, then picked up Megan's phone from the coffee table and held it out to her without saying anything. She took it, glanced at the screen, and I watched her face shift from relaxed to instantly defensive. That transformation was so fast and so obvious that any remaining hope this was innocent evaporated on the spot. "Why are you sending pictures of Aiden to Josh?" She went straight into deflection. They were just catching up, not a big deal. He'd reached out and she mentioned Aiden, and he wanted to see a picture. Where's the rest of the conversation? She hesitated, just long enough that I knew she was about to lie, then claimed she didn't delete anything. That's just how the app works sometimes. "Megan, don't insult my intelligence." Then came the pivot. Suddenly, I was the bad guy for going through her phone. "What?" I didn't trust her? Her shoulders tensed up when she said it. Voice went half an octave higher, hands fidgeting with the towel wrapped around her hair. I'd watched her handle difficult parents at the dental office before. Calm, steady, professional. This wasn't that. This was scrambling. She finally admitted Josh had reached out a few weeks ago. They'd talked. He'd asked for a picture. She deleted the messages because she knew I'd overreact exactly like this. So she knew I wouldn't be okay with it, did it anyway, and tried to hide it. That was somehow supposed to make me feel better. Aiden looked up at us, sensing tension even though we were keeping our voices controlled. Megan immediately switched into mom mode, scooped him up, said it was bedtime. I let her take him because I needed space to think anyway. I went out to the garage, sat on my workbench surrounded by tools, and tried to process what just happened. The compressor on my shop fridge kicked on, humming in the corner. Smell of motor oil and sawdust. Clock on the wall said 9:40. Through the door I could hear Megan doing Aiden's bedtime routine. Same song she always sang. Same routine we'd built together. And somewhere in all of that normalcy was a lie she'd been protecting for weeks, maybe longer. The next week was tense as heck. We were barely talking except about Aiden logistics, who's picking him up from daycare, what we needed from the store, basic household coordination like co-workers instead of engaged partners. Tuesday night after Aiden was asleep, I sat in the garage and did timeline math. Met August 2019. Started dating September. Aiden conceived February 2021, born September 2021. She'd said Josh was gone 8 months before we met, December 2018 or January 2019. Clean timeline, no overlap. Except Josh was back now, after nearly 5 years of silence. Sending her pictures of Aiden. Everything deleted. Why now? I pulled out my phone and Googled at-home paternity test. Took me about 10 minutes to learn the basics. Cheek swabs, mail to lab, results in 3 to 5 business days, costs around $100, legally admissible if you use an accredited lab. Simple process. No doctor required. Thursday night, I brought it up again. This time, I was more direct about what I was actually thinking. When exactly did you and Josh break up? She looked confused. Repeated the same story. 8 months before we met. September 2019. Why? Just want to make sure I have the timeline right. You were broken up for 8 months? Then we met, started dating? Aiden was conceived February 2021. Does that sound right? Yeah, so what? So I'm trying to figure out why, after all this time, he suddenly wants updates about our son. She jumped on that immediately. Our son? Is that what this is about? You're questioning whether Aiden is yours? I'm questioning why your ex is so interested in him. Yeah. Her face went red. She called me unbelievable. Couldn't believe I'd even think that. We'd been together 4.5 years. She'd never given me a reason to doubt her before this. Until now. You gave me a reason now. Then she started crying. Actually crying, which caught me off guard because Megan usually handled conflict tough. She went through the whole routine. Couldn't believe I didn't trust her. After everything we'd built together, did I really think she'd cheat and lie about our son? I don't know what to think anymore, but I know one way we can settle this once and for all. A paternity test. The way her face changed when I said that. Like I'd slapped her. The crying stopped immediately. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. If there's nothing to hide, there's no reason not to do it. We get the test, it confirms I'm Aiden's father, and we can move past all of this. No, absolutely not. Why not? She tried every angle. It was insulting. It showed I didn't trust her at all. It would destroy our relationship. I kept coming back to the same point. Our relationship was already damaged when she started talking to her ex behind my back and deleting evidence. The test would actually help fix things by removing any doubt. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. I don't have to prove anything. Be grateful I even dated you. The room went silent. Just stood there staring at her, processing what she'd just said. Like I should be thankful she chose me. Like I was lucky to be in her presence. After everything I'd done, stepped up when she got pregnant, worked my tail off to provide, been there for every moment with Aiden, and she had the nerve to act like I was beneath her. Part of me wanted to kick her out right then. Tell her to pack her stuff and get gone. But I held back. If I did that now, she'd play victim even harder with my family, and I'd never get the paternity test done. No, I needed that test. Needed proof. Then she could say whatever she wanted, because I'd have documentation that I was right to ask. She looked at the floor, shook her head. No, absolutely not. I'm not doing the test. Finally, I said the thing I'd been thinking for 2 days. Then there's no wedding. Her eyes went wide. What? If you won't do the test, the wedding is off. I'm not marrying someone who won't be honest with me, and I'm not going to spend the rest of my life wondering if my son is actually mine. You're being ridiculous. You're throwing away our entire relationship over one picture. No! You threw away our relationship when you started lying to me. The test is the only way to prove you've been telling the truth. If you won't do it, then what am I supposed to believe? She grabbed her phone and stormed off to our bedroom, slamming the door hard enough that I worried it would wake Aiden. I slept on the couch that night, and the next night, and the one after that. What I didn't know was that Megan had immediately gone running to my mom and Cody with her version of events. She told them I'd demanded the test out of nowhere, that she'd shown me a single innocent text from an old friend asking how she was doing, and I'd exploded. Said I accused her of cheating based on nothing, that I was looking for an excuse to abandon Aiden because I was scared of being a real father. She even cried on the phone with my mom, saying she was worried I'd inherited my dad's running away gene. My mom called me Saturday morning. I could tell from her tone she'd already picked a side. What the heck is going on with you and Megan? She called me crying last night. Did she tell you why I'm asking for a paternity test? She said you're being controlling and paranoid, that you're accusing her of cheating with no proof. I explained it. Megan had been secretly texting her ex, sending him pictures of Aiden, deleting all their messages. When I asked her about it, she lied multiple times before finally admitting they'd been talking for weeks. So she talked to an old boyfriend. That doesn't mean she cheated on you. It means she's hiding something. And the only way to know for sure is a paternity test. Mom's voice went cold. You sound just like your father right now, looking for excuses to abandon your family, making up reasons to walk away from your responsibilities. That hit hard. My old man was the one who bailed on us, who left for another woman, who destroyed our family. And now Mom was comparing me to him because I wanted the truth? This is nothing like what Dad did. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm asking for honesty. You're threatening to call off your wedding and walk away from your son unless Megan proves he's yours. How is that not abandonment? That little boy thinks you're his father. You've raised him for 2.5 years. And now you're ready to throw him away because you don't trust his mother? I'm not throwing anyone away. I just want to know the truth. The truth is that you're scared of commitment, just like your father. The moment things get hard, you look for an exit. That's not fair. Fair? What's fair is honoring your commitments, being a man and taking care of your family, not looking for excuses to run. She hung up on me. I sat there staring at my phone, feeling like I'd been kicked in the chest. My own mother was taking Megan's side without even considering that I might have valid reasons for my concerns. Later that day, Cody texted me. Mom told me what's going on. So much for being the good one, huh? I could practically hear the satisfaction in his message. He was enjoying this, watching me get dragged while Mom threw our father's abandonment in my face. Stay out of it, Cody. This doesn't involve you. It involves all of us when you're acting like Dad. Guess you're not so perfect after all. I didn't respond. What was the point? He wanted this, wanted to watch the golden child crash and burn while he got to feel superior for once. Megan knew what she'd done. She'd positioned herself as the victim, made me look like the villain, and turned my own family against me. And the worst part was, she was probably counting on that pressure to make me back down, to drop the paternity test demand and just accept her version of events. But I wasn't backing down. Tuesday afternoon while Aiden was napping, I sat down across from Megan at the kitchen table. We're doing a paternity test. I've already looked into it. Not a question. A statement. Her face went pale. Okay, if that's what it takes to prove you're wrong, then fine. She wouldn't look at me when she said it, just stared at the table, hands trembling slightly. And you're going to set the record straight with my family when this comes back. No more making me out to be some jealous maniac. Fine. Whatever you want. I ordered the test kit that night. 2-day shipping. Plain brown box showed up Thursday. 2 sealed collection tubes, sterile swabs, prepaid return envelope, instructions. Simple. We did the test that evening after dinner. Aiden thought it was hilarious when I swabbed his cheek, tried to grab the swab from me to do it himself. Kept saying my turn, like it was a game. He had this stubborn streak when he wanted something, would just keep pushing until he got his way. I'd always thought he got that from me. I remember thinking how completely innocent he was in all this. Had no idea his dad was having an existential crisis about whether he was actually his dad. I swabbed the inside of my cheek next, sealed it in the labeled tube. Megan watched the whole process with this hollow expression, like she was watching her life fall apart in real time. After we sealed up the samples and stuck them in the mailbox, Megan and I just stood there in the kitchen in this heavy silence. I hope you understand what this means if you're wrong, and I hope you understand what it means if I'm right. She didn't have a response to that, just walked away. The next few days were brutal. I went to work, came home, spent time with Aiden, tried not to think about the test results. Saturday, Aiden asked why Daddy was sleeping on the couch. Megan told him I was having back problems. He accepted it because he was 2.5. The following Wednesday afternoon around 3, I got an email notification while I was wrapping up a job. The subject line said, "Paternity test results available." My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I went out to my truck and just sat there in the parking lot staring at my phone, hands shaking as I opened the email and clicked the link. The page loaded. I had to read the same line 3 times before it actually registered. Probability of paternity. 0% Aiden wasn't mine. I finished that job somehow. Tested the new coil, confirmed airflow, collected payment, autopilot. My mouth was talking, my hands were working, but my brain was completely offline. The drive home was a blur. Just surface streets and traffic lights while I white-knuckled the steering wheel. 2.5 years of being his dad in every way that actually mattered. And the whole time, he wasn't even mine. When I got home around 6:30, Megan was making dinner. Aiden was in his high chair with crackers, babbling away. Everything looked so normal, so domestic, like we were just a regular family going through a regular Wednesday evening. Except we weren't. We were a lie. Megan looked up when I walked in. My face must have said everything because her expression immediately shifted from casual to worried to something like fear. "Did you get them?" I just held up my phone with the results on the screen. The color drained from her face. She knew. Obviously she knew. Probably knew the whole time. "We need to talk. Not here." I gestured toward Aiden. Megan nodded, looking like she might throw up. She called her mom, asked if she could watch Aiden for a bit, said it was urgent. Her mom sensed something was seriously wrong because she said she'd be there in 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes felt like hours. I played with Aiden, gave him more crackers, made silly faces until he giggled. He had no idea everything was about to change. When Megan's mom arrived, Megan handed Aiden over with some vague excuse. Her mom gave us both concerned looks, but didn't push. As soon as they left, Megan turned to me. "Let me explain. There's no wedding. We're done. But I want the truth. All of it." She started crying. "I didn't cheat on you. I swear I never cheated while we were together." "Then explain the test results." She sank onto the couch. When she started talking, her voice was shaky. "Josh and I didn't break up 8 months before we met. 6 weeks. And we slept together one last time. Then she met me. Everything with Josh was over. When I found out I was pregnant, I knew there was a chance Aiden might not be yours. But I didn't want to believe it. I convinced myself he was yours because I wanted him to be yours." She paused, looked away. "And honestly, you were the better option. Josh was broke, still living with roommates, always talking about starting some business that never happened. You had everything together. I kept thinking, if I just believe hard enough that Aiden's yours, then maybe he will be. Like I could will it into being true." Good grief. Josh contacted her a few weeks ago. Put the timeline together. Realized Aiden might be his. Wanted pictures and updates. Said if she didn't send them, he'd reach out to me directly. She panicked, sent the picture, deleted the messages. "So you were just going to keep lying for the rest of our lives?" I was scared. I didn't want to lose you. She reached for me. I stepped back. "Pack a bag. You're leaving tonight. Please, we can work through this. Aiden needs you. He knows you as his dad. He needs his father. That's Josh. And you need to tell him the truth." Her tears stopped quick when she realized the sympathy angle wasn't working. "You've been there since the beginning. Biology doesn't matter as much as being there. You're just being selfish right now. You let me believe I was his father when you knew there was a chance I wasn't. Pack. You're leaving." She tried a few more angles. Couldn't believe I was kicking her out. Where was she supposed to go? This was her home too. Then came the accusations. I was running away instead of fighting for us. For our family. "Your name's not on the lease. You're leaving." She packed a bag, slamming drawers. Her mom came to pick her up around 9. Megan still hadn't told her the real reason. Just said we'd had a major fight, and I was being irrational. After they left, I sat on the couch in the empty apartment. Aiden's blocks were still scattered across the living room floor. One of his sippy cups on the coffee table, half full of watered-down juice. The dent in the couch cushion, where Megan always sat. Everything looked exactly the same as it had that morning, but nothing would ever be the same again. Megan showed up at my apartment 3 days after I kicked her out. Texted first, then just appeared when I didn't respond. Same playbook. We could work through this. Aiden needed me. I was throwing everything away. I didn't let her in. Talked through the doorway for maybe 2 minutes before shutting the door mid-sentence. She could stand in the hallway and talk to herself if she wanted. Mom kept calling, still completely in Megan's corner, because Megan hadn't told her the results. Was still playing the victim card while I looked like the jerk who abandoned his family. The calls got brutal. She kept pushing, kept questioning my choices, kept defending Megan without knowing the full story. Cody was quieter after that first text, but I heard through mutual friends he was still talking trash, telling people I'd always thought I was better than everyone, that it was satisfying to watch me screw up, that maybe Mom had been wrong about which son was the reliable one. Fine, let them think what they wanted. I had the receipts. From what I heard through mutual connections, Megan finally told Josh the truth about a week after I kicked her out. He got his own paternity test done, wanted confirmation before he committed to anything, and yeah, Aiden was his. Josh didn't negotiate. He went straight for the throat, filed for joint custody in early May. His lawyer started calculating back child support, 2.5 years at Arizona's standard formula, estimated around $60,000 in back support based on documented daycare and medical expenses, pending formal court orders. The whole process dragged for weeks, lawyers going back and forth, Megan trying to negotiate down. Josh wasn't budging. According to mutual friends, Josh was furious. Not at me. Apparently he understood I'd been lied to just like he had. At Megan for keeping Aiden from him? Whatever. He slept with his ex one last time and bounced for 2.5 years without checking in once. He doesn't get to play the wronged father now. I didn't feel bad for Megan. Not even a little bit. She'd lied to both of us, and now both of us were making her pay for it in different ways. Josh was hitting her wallet and her custody arrangement. I was hitting her with something worse. Complete indifference. I moved out in April, found a 1-bedroom closer to work, packed up Aiden's stuff, had Megan's brother come get it. Clearing out his room was brutal. Every toy, every book, reminder of what I'd lost. Not because he died, but because he'd never really been mine to begin with. Started hitting the gym 5 days a week. Picked up hobbies I'd abandoned. Basketball, mountain biking, weekends on trail rides instead of petting zoos. Got promoted in May. Lead position, managing 3 techs, solid raise. Needed it. Some days felt normal. Others, I was just going through motions. Functional. Then, one Friday evening in July, I got a call from Megan. First time she'd actually gotten through in months. Must have called from a different number. She sounded wrecked. I need to talk to you. Can we meet? We don't have anything to talk about. Please, it's urgent. It's about Aiden and everything. The desperation in her voice told me everything. Josh's demands were crushing her. Fine. Same coffee shop where we had our first date. 1 hour? Felt appropriate. Full circle. When I got to the coffee shop, Megan looked like absolute trash. Dark circles under her eyes, hair thrown up in a messy bun, wearing yoga pants and an old hoodie like she'd given up trying. She had that hollowed-out look of someone who hasn't slept right in weeks. Aiden wasn't with her. Smart. We sat down and she launched into it. Josh demanding 50-50 custody. Josh demanding child support. Her finances falling apart. Having to move back in with her mom. I just sat there drinking my coffee. Didn't interrupt. Let her talk herself out. Then came the ask. Financial help. Just until she could get back on her feet. I was there for 2.5 years. Bonded with Aiden. She was asking for him, not for her. I let the silence stretch. She tried different angles. Aiden still asked about me. This was about doing the right thing. Didn't I care that he cried for me? I cared about the truth more. She kept pushing. This wasn't about the past. It was about his future. He needed stability. He needs his actual father to step up, which from what you're telling me, Josh is trying to do. Then she said it. I'll do anything. I'll admit to everyone that I lied. I'll tell your mom the truth. I'll tell Cody. Just please help me. I'll do whatever you want. That's when I made my decision. She still hadn't told the truth. Still letting my mom think I was a deadbeat. Time to correct the record. You should have thought about that before. I made a mistake. You made 1,000 choices to keep lying. Every single day. What do you want me to say? I don't want to hear anything. I want you to leave me alone. I stood up. She grabbed my arm. I looked down at her hand until she let go. Does Josh know you're here? Does he know you're begging your ex for money to help raise his son? She went pale. That's what I thought. I left her sitting there crying into her cold coffee. Walked out to my truck, sat there for a minute, then pulled out my phone. I wasn't done. I forwarded the paternity test results to my mom, then typed out a message. This is why I asked for the test. This is what Megan was hiding. Aiden isn't mine. She lied about when she broke up with Josh, lied about there being any chance he wasn't mine, lied to you about why we split. She spent months telling everyone I abandoned my son when she knew the whole time he wasn't my son. Today she asked me to help pay for another man's kid because Josh is holding her accountable. You compared me to dad for wanting the truth. Hope you can live with that. Sent. Then I forwarded the same thing to Cody with a shorter message. Still think I'm the bad guy? But I wasn't finished with Cody. I scrolled back through our messages, found every single text where he'd talked trash about me. The "so much for being the good one" message, screenshots friends had sent me of him running his mouth in group chats, everything. Compiled it all. Then I sent it to my mom with one line. This is what your golden boy was saying while you defended Megan's lies. Then I sent everything to Megan's family. The test results. Screenshots of her messages asking me for money. Screenshots of all her lies about why we split. The whole timeline. Felt good. Clean. Final. My phone started blowing up within minutes. Mom tried calling. I declined. She texted, "We need to talk. Please call me." Then, "This doesn't change that you abandoned him for 2.5 years. He still needed you." Then, "You could have been the bigger person." I didn't respond to any of it. Cody sent, "Holy crap, I didn't know." I replied, "You didn't want to know. You wanted me to fail. Now everyone knows what kind of brother you really are." Then he tried, "But you still could have handled this better. You didn't have to embarrass everyone." I replied, "You embarrassed yourselves. I just showed people the receipts." He didn't respond to that. The family group chat went nuclear. Some relatives immediately apologized. Others tried to defend Mom and Cody. They were just trying to protect Aiden. You didn't have to air family business like this. Everyone makes mistakes. I muted the chat and didn't look at it for 3 days. Let them squirm. Mom showed up at my apartment an hour after I unmuted the chat. I let her in because I figured we'd have to have this conversation eventually. She looked like she'd been crying. Couldn't say I cared much. I thought I was protecting Aiden. Megan seemed so genuine. I thought you were making a terrible mistake. You thought wrong. I know. I'm so sorry. I should have trusted you. Can you forgive me? I don't know. You spent months making me feel like garbage for wanting the truth. You compared me to Dad, the guy who actually abandoned us, because I wouldn't accept being lied to. And you know what the worst part is? You meant every word. Now that you know the truth, you're sorry. But you weren't sorry when you thought I was wrong. You were righteous. She tried a different angle. But you have to understand, from my perspective, no, I don't have to understand anything. You made your choice without ever asking for my side. You took the word of someone you'd known for 4 years over the son you raised for 23. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? You called me my father's son. You hung up on me. You spent months telling anyone who'd listen that I was a deadbeat. Now you want me to understand your perspective? She went quiet. Finally said, "What can I do to make this right? For starters, you can post in the family group chat exactly what Megan did. Not some vague apology. The actual truth, that she lied about paternity, manipulated you, and turned you against me. That you owe me an apology for comparing me to Dad. And that anyone who took her side without hearing my story should be ashamed." Her face went pale. "You want me to publicly admit I was wrong? You publicly called me a deadbeat. Yeah, I want you to publicly admit you were wrong. Otherwise, we're done." Not taking a break, done. Actually done. She looked at the floor for a long time. "I don't know if I can do that. That's humiliating. And what you did to me wasn't?" More silence. "Your choice," I said. "But if you walk out that door without agreeing, don't bother coming back." She stood there for another minute. Then finally nodded. "Okay, I'll do it. Good. Now leave." She did. Still crying. Still apologizing. I felt nothing. Not bad, not good, just empty. Hollowed out, but functional. 20 minutes later, my phone lit up with notifications from the family group chat. Mom had posted a long message, actually followed through, admitting she'd been wrong, explaining what Megan had done, apologizing to me publicly, and calling out everyone who'd taken Megan's side without question. The chat exploded. Relatives demanding details. Some apologizing, others still making excuses. Mistakes happen. Family should forgive family. I didn't respond to any of it. Cody tried texting privately first. "I was a jerk. I'm sorry." I responded, "You weren't a jerk. You were a snake. There's a difference. You weren't just wrong. You were happy I was suffering because it made you feel better about yourself." Mom put her apology in the group chat. "Where's yours?" He took 6 hours to respond. "I don't think I should have to apologize publicly for having an opinion." I replied, "You didn't have an opinion. You had a smear campaign. Post it or don't. Either way, we're done." He didn't respond. But the next morning, he posted his own message in the family chat. Short, defensive. But there. I said some things about my brother that weren't true. I was wrong. I'm sorry. No explanation. No real accountability. Just enough to technically count. I didn't respond to that either. Didn't need to. Later, I heard Megan had a full meltdown after I forwarded those test results. Her family stopped helping her financially. My mom's message in the family group chat got screenshotted and made the rounds through mutual friends. Megan tried to leave the chat, but the damage was done. Josh found out about her asking me for money and lost it. Told his lawyer. Used it as evidence that she was financially irresponsible and trying to manipulate people. Made his custody case stronger. Heard through the grapevine, Josh's life also went sideways. His girlfriend bounced when she found out about Aiden. His parents gave him hell. The custody schedule wrecked his work-life balance. He was stressed, exhausted, second-guessing everything. Good. He knocked up his ex one last time and disappeared for 2.5 years without a single follow-up. Now he gets to learn what being a parent actually costs. That's called consequences. The custody battle got uglier. The child support demands didn't go away. Megan ended up taking night shifts at her old retail job to make ends meet. And me? I kept hitting the gym, kept getting promoted, kept building a life that didn't include liars or manipulators or people who thought I owed them something for their mistakes. About 6 months after all this, I ran into Megan at a grocery store. She looked tired, stressed, barely keeping it together. Saw me and immediately looked like she wanted to disappear. I just nodded at her, grabbed my stuff, and walked away. Didn't gloat, didn't engage, didn't give her the satisfaction of a reaction. Because at the end of the day, my indifference was the best revenge. She'd lost me, lost her easy life, lost her support system, lost her narrative. I'd lost nothing except dead weight. Update since people keep asking. No, I don't regret the paternity test at all whatsoever. Best decision I ever made. No, I'm not in contact with Aiden anymore. He's not my son. Josh is his father, and Josh is stepping up. No, my mom and I aren't rebuilding anything yet. She followed through on the public apology, which was the bare minimum. We're civil now. Distant, but civil. Maybe that changes someday. Maybe it doesn't. Cody and I don't talk. His half-assed apology in the group chat didn't fix what he said privately. He wanted me to fail, and I'm not interested in pretending that didn't happen. Josh reached out once. Said he understood I'd been lied to and respected how I handled it. I appreciated that. We're not friends, and I don't particularly care about his problems. But there's no bad blood between us. We both got played by the same person, just in different ways. Life's good now. Better, actually. Got another promotion in October. Started seeing someone new. Met her at the gym. No baggage. No exes lurking in the background. No lies. Taking it slow, but it feels clean. Honest. Like starting fresh. And for the people saying I should have stayed for Aiden because he knew me as his dad, hard pass. I'm not a backup plan. I'm not a safety net. And I'm sure as heck not raising another man's kid after being lied to for 2.5 years about something that fundamental. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.